Welcome to Daughters Who Speak, raising awareness for spiritual abuse and advocating for healing and restoration. Today's topic we're talking about is isolation. And I heard it to be said that isolation is the enemy's playground. The enemy wants you alone so he can play with your mind, twist your thoughts, cause doubt, make you question yourself and others. But because of that, isolation can be a dangerous thing. Now, my experience with isolation in terms of spiritual abuse, I recall a previous church that I attended, that the pastor would always make it, or the leaders would always make it known that ministry does not stop. Made it known that our church was primary in our life, above our husbands, above our children. We gotta work, but low-key above our job. There was plenty of time. It was an impromptu conference call in the middle of the day. You gotta go run and trying to find a quiet place to jump on in the middle of the day, in the middle of your work day. But a lot of time, in life got lost because we was always at the church. It was a group of young people that was in training to become deacons and ministers in training, and we had to always be there. I recall the pastor saying it's not a day that go by that you should not come to the church, even if it's just to check on the church, check on the grounds, look around. You need to always be at the church, and not even just be at the church. You have to be the first one there and the last one to leave. So it took up a lot of our time. My husband and I, when we got married, we really didn't have the opportunity to be newlyweds because we was always there. We didn't get a chance to travel much. My husband would go up the road to visit family, but I wouldn't go with him. I felt obligated to be at the church. So those obligations, or that mindset that we had to be at the church, took me away from my family, took me away from my husband, took me away from my child. And sometimes when you're always at the church, you come home and you're so exhausted that you can't do anything else. You don't feel like cooking. You don't feel like going out on the date. You don't feel like talking even to your child about their day because you're exhausted. This is your every day you wake up. So it was just consuming. It was, and not knowing that is this how ministry is supposed to be? Being a minister in training, is it supposed to be this way? Am I not supposed to have a life? It was almost frowned upon to want to have a life, to want to go out. It's almost as if you was putting something else above God. And so it isolated me from my family, from my friends. If I had a friend that wanted to see me, I would tell them, come to the church. I'm at the church. That was terrible. Even my sister, she would call and say, hey, I want to hang out with you, but I don't want to come to the church. And I said, well, we're not gonna be able to hang out. I'm sorry. You got to come. You're gonna have to come to the church. But that was terrible. But that was my mindset at that time, because isolation did not come with that warning of, hey, I'm gonna isolate you from your family and your friends. It came with the never-ending to-do list of obligations that require you to be at the church, and that fear of being punished, I guess, in a way, if you're not there. So that's my story of isolation, what I experienced there at that previous church. I thank you all for listening. Thank you for listening to Daughters Who Speak. If today's topic resonated with you, Subscribe, share, and remember, your voice deserves to be heard, your story deserves to be told, and your voice matters.